Welcome back to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm Obi-Wan, and in this episode, I'm going to give you my reaction to the top 25 and especially focusing on the top 12 teams going into the college football playoff rankings and the prediction of this week's conference championship. And did you know, in the last four seasons, only three teams ranked number one before the conference championship has won the national championship. Alabama did it in 2020, Georgia 2022, and last season, Michigan Wolverines. This show is brought to you by the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. Visit the website hhwshow.com as they get set for the end of the year Saturday night main event that's happening in December, and also getting ready for the road to the Royal Rumble. It's first down, and here we go. This is the official announcement of the college football selection committee. And 21 to 25, we got Illinois, Syracuse, Colorado, Army, and Memphis. Colorado won big. They move up two rankings. Army making it back to the top 25. Memphis, same conference. Good job. It's all good, but they're not participating in American Athletic Conference. So there you have it. Army will be playing this Friday against Tulane. Question is, where will Tulane be ranked? 16 to 20, Iowa State, Clemson, BYU, Missouri, and UNLV. Still questioning about Missouri being in the top 25, but that's another story. And of course, it's all about the rankings, right? It's all about resumes. BYU moving up. Clemson lost big this weekend. They should have won, but they lost to South Carolina and they dropped 5, but they still in the ACC championship. Iowa State moving up, and they're in the Big 12 championship. 11 to 15, Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Arizona State. It's big because Alabama on top, could they be potentially be in the playoffs? You got Miami dropping down because they lost to Syracuse. Ole Miss. South Carolina is probably the hottest team, but it looks like, and I have to agree, that they're not making it to the playoffs. Arizona State, however, in the Big 12 championship, could they maintain? 6 through 10, Ohio State, Tennessee, SMU, Indiana, Boise State. Okay, Indiana was supposed to have the 106 strength of record. Now they bumped it to 65. They're 11-1. We saw what happened between them and Ohio State. Are they really good enough? The committee thinks so to make it one of the best top 12 teams. SMU, they got a chance to make it big should they win their conference championship. And Tennessee and Ohio State looks like they're already in the playoffs. And 1 through 5, Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia. Big question is, Texas and Georgia going in the SEC championship. What would happen if Texas win? Well, of course, Texas will be locked in, but what happens to Georgia? But then again, if Georgia wins, will Texas remain in the college football playoffs? It's weird. But then at the same time, you got Oregon versus Penn State. I do believe that Oregon's already locked in, and Penn State. So regardless of what happens in the conference championship, I just believe that they will definitely be there. Now we're moving on to second down. And of course, we're focusing on the top 12 teams only. And this is what they predicted. Remember, the 5 conference champions will be in the playoffs, but only the top 4 will get a bye week. Everybody else seeded from 5 through 12. And of course, the home team on the quarterfinals and the semifinals will be hosting the bowl games. And in the first round, those that are ranked 5 through 8 will have home field advantage. So let's look at this bracket real quick. In the quarterfinals, Boise State, Oregon, SMU, and Texas, respectively there. And of course, now we got Arizona State, right, 12th seed, all right, currently ranked number 15 in the top 25. They're set. If all 5 of these teams win, of course, they're in, right? Haha. Let's check it out. The rest of it will be Penn State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia, four teams hosting the first round, right? And then it'll be probably potentially Arizona State and Penn State being the solid game right there. Uh, Arizona State being in a hot climate, going to the winner in Penn State. But then again, the whole entire United States is already cold. So would the weather be a factor? I mean, I guess that's the biggest focus, right? It doesn't matter. The game is football, right? Let's look at the rest. And they're predicting, besides Arizona State and Penn State, Tennessee to go all the way to Ohio State, Alabama going all the way to Notre Dame, and Indiana going on the road to Georgia. Could that be a big possibility? It could be. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that these games are locked. I believe with all the chaos that's happened in the past month, I believe that it's going to finish with more chaos. Just when you think that the team is going to win, I don't think so. And then the biggest question is Miami or Ole Miss? If any of these upsets happen in the conference championship, could they go in? Let's see. Because here in third down, I'm going to cover each game. And when I'm start off with Tulane versus Army, none of these two teams are going to be a major factor. I don't think that whoever wins are not making it to the college football playoffs. I don't think so. Okay. Therefore, with history and everything else, Tulane has a 4-game winning streak. I believe if you're going to be a betting man, to take this game over 45.5. I really do. I don't care about the score. I just care about total points right now. Take 45.5, win some money. That's it. Other than that, this game is going to be at West Point, New York. Big deal for Army. Big deal for the whole entire community, for all the military, armed forces, serving our country. They're going to be in this game. And you bet that all the cadets are going to fill up the seats, chanting Army all the way. However, Tulane is always they manhandle Navy. It's almost similar to Notre Dame handling Navy and Army. Tulane's going to be in the right spot. Tulane's going to win and become the American Athletic Champions. It hurts me being that I'm a veteran. It really does. And I'm still going to root for my boys, the Army. But the statistics say that Tulane is going to win. Moving on. And again, that's our Friday's game. This another Friday game will be UNLV on the road against Boise State. Boise State wins, they're in. If they lose, boom, they're out. That's what they're saying. I don't know. However, I feel like both these teams are going to crunch. I don't think it's going over. I'm going to take the under 58.5. But I am choosing Boise State to win. They won 8 in a row. They have the formula to defeat UNLV. I don't know what else to say about that. Boise State has defeated UNLV back in October 29-24. Boise State has won 44-20 over UNLV back in 2003 for the Mountain West Championship. And UNLV has never won at Boise State. They played 5 games on the road over there, and they could not get the victory. Let's make it 6. How about that? All right, moving on to Saturday's game. Georgia versus Texas. I think this one is big, but not as big as the next games that we're going to talk about. However, being that it's in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, yeah. Atlanta. Remember, Georgia beat Texas at Texas in Austin. Big stadium, sold out crowd. And Georgia crushed Texas' dreams. Okay? This is a revenge story for Texas. Can they overcome and go after Georgia and make that and just make it up? Can they do it? The spread is only 2.5. The over-under is 49.5. This is the upset that I'm going to tell you right now. When you don't pick Georgia, when everything's focusing on the other team, that's when Georgia comes to its finest. But what type of Georgia team are we going to get? I mean, they don't never start nice. They're always struggle. The wide receivers can't even catch the ball. But Texas seems like they are running the game. It seems like they're getting better. But then Texas is also known when the game really counts, they don't show up either. I am taking Georgia, even though it's positioned them that they're going to be on the road, but it is the home field advantage for Georgia. And Kirby Smart is going to prove everybody that when you play in Georgia, it is going to be hard. Oh, yeah. So give me Georgia upsetting Texas. Texas also, by the way, is 2-1 in the playoffs versus Georgia. That's dating back to 1949 and then the All-State Sugar Bowl back in 2019. But Georgia won back in 1984 in the Cotton Bowl. So there's a lot of gaps in there, but nothing compared to what's going to happen on Saturday. Iowa State versus Arizona State for the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. I'm liking this. I think this should be a pick'em game. It shouldn't even be a spread. And I'm going to tell you why. Both these teams are equivalent. They're equivalent when it comes to the games itself. They both played Texas Tech and lost. They both beat UCF. They both beat Kansas State. They both beat Utah. However, Arizona State lost to Cincinnati. Arizona State, lost to Cincinnati, but Iowa State, they won. Then Arizona State beat Kansas, but Iowa State didn't. So it's like seesaw, up, down, up, down. The scale is even between both teams. Oh, and by the way, they've never played each other. This is going to be the first time. I'm liking this. But I'm going to have to pick the hottest team right now. And the hottest team is Arizona State. I think they're going with it. I think they got this. No fear. And it's going to be a great game. It might be a field goal. It might be. But I am taking Arizona State. This game is played in Arlington, Texas. Yeah. What can I say? Prove me wrong. All right? Prove me wrong. I mean, if you want to talk about Iowa State being longest in the Big 12, yeah. But Arizona State, first year in the Big 12, making a lot of noise. They're hot. They're on fire. Give it to them. And with that win, they're locked in. Penn State versus Oregon. This is probably the game of the week. And you're going to be surprised how my pick on this. Penn State has won the Liberty Bowl back in 1960 and the Rose Bowl in 1995. Why does that matter? Because those are the playoffs. And in history, well, Oregon doesn't show up. The last time Oregon was in the playoffs, they lost. Remember that in the finals to Ohio State? Yeah. Well, yeah, this is the conference championship. This is not the playoffs, like the playoffs, right? Well, it does make a difference. It really does. Okay? And I'm going to focus on Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel did so well with UCF. Okay? When he replaced that quarterback, he won an actual bowl game. When he had a whole entire season with UCF, they lost. He's 1-1. On the third season, he couldn't complete it. Dillon Gabriel got hurt. He was carted off the field and didn't finish the season. He decided to transfer to Oklahoma. Oh, guess what? He went 0-2 in the playoffs with Oklahoma. What's he going to do with Oregon? That's the biggest question there. Okay? Biggest question. When the season matters, will Dillon Gabriel come and prevail? Can he persevere? Persevere. And does he have that resilience? Or will that eat him? I mean, this guy's been in college football for 6 seasons. I don't even know how you make it 6 seasons. This guy's he's making a career instead of going to the NFL. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's all about Dillon Gabriel, how he handles his business. If he's gonna throw it all and you confide in Dillon Gabriel, then we got big problems. And that's why I'm gonna pick this upset. And I know Penn State. Why would you pick Penn State? They couldn't even score an offensive touchdown against Ohio State. Crazy as it may sound, but this game is played in Indianapolis. That's closer to Penn State. Yeah. But you know what? Oregon undefeated 12-0. That's a lot. That's a lot for Oregon. Yes, sir. It's a lot. Oregon needs probably a little bit of humiliation getting into the playoffs. Both teams are going to lock in, regardless who wins, who loses. But someone has to make a big statement. Should Penn State lose, it's not going to be pretty for the Nittany Lions. It's not. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get bumped and then they have a road game, because that's what they deserve should they lose this game. So yes, I am taking Penn State to beat Oregon. Lastly, Clemson beats, scratch that. Clemson versus SMU ACC championship. And I'm taking the best defense out of these two teams. SMU wins the ACC championship. And this is the first time they play each other. But SMU is hot. And Clemson, I understand they haven't lost 2 in a row this season. It's going to happen right now. SMU takes charge. Moving on to fourth down. And this is my prediction for the top 12 going into the college football playoffs. I have number 1, Penn State. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, SMU. And number 4, Boise State. Those are the 4 teams waiting in the quarterfinals. But I hope they don't get too comfortable, because the next set of teams already have one game and they're on fire, they're in rhythm. That's something that a lot of people don't understand that. Now the biggest question is, how will they seat Alabama and Arizona State? Like, if Arizona State wins, do they get rewarded to move up in the rankings, or do they stay put at 12? Just saying. I don't know how that works. However, it'll be nice, because then I get to see Tennessee versus Ohio State. I get to see Alabama versus Oregon. I see Indiana versus Texas, and Arizona State versus Notre Dame. I think that's better for Alabama. Well, I guess it's better for Notre Dame, really, to not face Alabama. But then again, what you gonna get, right? So if anything, we're probably gonna see 1 3-loss team of Alabama. And notice how it's bracket. Notice the bracketology on this one. Alabama's not on the same side as Georgia. That's good. That's good. I like that. However, imagine you're Penn State and you did beat Oregon, and then you have a chance to most likely play Ohio State in the quarterfinals. There's a lot of revenge on that one. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Indiana and Texas. And then, like, it's a wild card game between Arizona State and Notre Dame. All right. So there's just so many possibilities. Hey, that's my prediction. It really is. That's my final whistle on that one. What is your take on it? Listen, it's going to be an awesome weekend. We're going to be tuned in next Tuesday to find out the final results and everything else. But if all the favorites win, then there's not going to be any big changes, except for maybe Georgia. That's probably the big difference there, right? If Georgia loses, are they out? And would that fill in maybe Ole Miss in the picture? It's just a lot of possibilities, but hey, that's why they play the game. We watch it, we make our predictions, and let's go with the flow. How about that? What's your take? Let me know. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook. It is All 4 Downs.